Welcome to another episode of Zero If I Could, where comedians discuss absurd reviews. My name is Raul Zambrano.
I'm Brittany Hersbrun.
I'm Jake Disharoon.
And with us is our guest, Nikki Bond. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey. Thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah,
we do...
to give people the intro time. I didn't know when I should jump in, but
it's good that some people, our last guest actually was did their intro. They're like, my name's Caitlin, and we're used to. But yeah,
I just wait silently, and then I seem like an awkward guest. But I'm just trying to be like respect.
yeah, let's get worked out.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Yeah. It would have been nice if you had been silent for a good 20 minutes before we called on you for a specific question, but this is fine too.
I was going to say, I don't really make any of this private when I post it. And then so my mom today, we were walking my dog and she was like, oh, I listened to your last podcast and you were talking about penises and you were talking about how circumcised versus uncircumcised penises and you prefer uncircumcised penises. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to have to start making this private from some people.
Did she say what she preferred?
She was just
did she give an opinion?
I think I know her opinion based on her reaction because she was like, why? I don't understand. And I was like, it's just easier. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, there's just more skin for like a hand job. It's easier. And she's like, I mean, I guess for that. But and I don't know. So I don't know. I don't think she's tried the other to know. So she can't really have an opinion on it, I think.
The idea of saying the word hand job to my mom is I'm going very slightly insane just from considering the idea of having a conversation like that with her.
Okay, well, which do you think she would prefer, Jake? Your mom?
Cut or uncut?
She goes cut or uncut for your mom. What do you think she would be into?
Probably cut.
All right. Well, yeah, she's a good Christian lady.
She's an old-fashioned American woman.
So did she cut you so that you could have the kind of dick that she'd like, do you think?
Okay,
I feel like all mothers do that to some extent, right? They decide whether or not, because they're like, this is.
They think about.
I think they would be more attractive this way, you know?
Yeah.
Well, because they want their son to marry a woman like them. So this is really planning ahead of like, I know I want cut, so he's going to be cut. So his girlfriend, his wife, is like me. It's a lot of psychology going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm cut now that you asked. Yeah, what of it?
Well, he doesn't. So, you know what?
You see Brittany's disgusted face.
Yeah.
It's like she bit into a lemon.
Just thinking of either of your guys' penises is really unpleasant for me.
Hey, same. I don't like to think of my penis.
Yeah.
So then in the future, Brittany, when you have a kid, are you going to go cut or uncut?
If I ever did have a kid, which I don't really want to, I wouldn't circumcise them. But that's because I told you I read a book about it. And there was a lot of stuff about how their baby's personalities changed after. And it led more to like SIDS. So I just don't think it's worth the risk from this book that I read.
What about you, Nikki?
I just think I just don't want it to get dirty, but I don't know. I don't think I would. I'm not religious, so I just think I'd be like, have your dick the way it is. Just make sure you wash it, kid. Did you guys see there was a show where there's a lot of protests or weirdos that protest the cutting of a baby's dick, which I actually am like, you know what? That's actually true. The kid doesn't get a say on what they want their dick to be.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, because it is almost all guys, but those guys are it's one of those things where technically I think they're right. You should probably not give a baby unnecessary dick surgery when they're less than a month old. But the way that their methods are just insane. They're insane. They talk about it like it's genocide. They post pictures of newly circumcised babies just to try to freak people out. It's like, okay, you could take it down a couple of notches and you'd be winning me over real hard. Well, but you're being at a 10 out of 10 on this is not the way to go. I don't think.
It's weird because some people are vehemently opposed to people piercing their baby's ears without their consent, but then they'll chop part of their kid's dick off. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You think those are the same people?
I think there are people who are probably opposed to earrings that have had their children circumcised for sure.
I can't wait till your mom hears this episode, because we're like not even a minute in and we're already talking about circumcision penises.
Yeah, we dove right into dicks, right into the old dick pile.
Yeah.
But we do, Nikki, we do typically like to ask this question to newcomers on the podcast. Have you ever been?
Do you prefer circumcised? Yeah. Sorry.
That's standard question number 2.
I was just trying to get that out of the way up top, but yeah,
Okay,
you go ahead with your question, I guess.
If you ever been reviewed about, or maybe haven't had any like hard criticism or anything like that.
I think I've been reviewed twice. The restaurant that I worked at, and the one woman was absolutely insane that I cried at the table, but then I got to the point with serving that I would want to cry at the table so they could see the effect that they are having on other humans when they have a privilege of eating out. So like I used to, when I was younger, be like, oh, I don't care. And now I will be like, okay, it's time to let the tears out. Let's rumble that up. But this woman was so insane that she like her son-in-law came up to me and was like, I am so sorry about my mother-in-law. Then someone else came up to me. So that woman complained that this other table that actually gave me a panic attack. We were really, really busy. I work in a small restaurant, but it's very popular. I was serving them. I was like very charismatic, doing my thing. And then I got slammed, but also like they basically thought that they were my only table. They thought that I should just be tended to them. And our restaurant is, we share the pool. And so everybody, I'd be like, oh, can you take this table? Can you sub in? Like we share the whole room, And I went up and the guy was just like, where have you been? You were supposed to be with us all night, and hit the whole table attacked me. Like the old woman was like, you are doing a horrible job. And I would like go to say something and they'd be like, no. And then I was just like, you are not my only table. I have other people. We work as a team. Everybody was taking care of you. And he was like, we don't want to see you for the rest of the night. And then wrote about me on Yelp. And I'm just like, it's, and they'll be like, well, the waitress did this and that. And then they describe you. And then like I'd always have to be the bearer of bad news because our kitchen was really strict. And at another table where we wouldn't do the steak longer because that was the rule of the restaurant. They wouldn't like put the steak on longer. And then I'd have to tell people. And I just remember one review being like, the waitress was really smiley and nice about it, but she still wouldn't do it. Like yeah.
They felt like you betrayed them.
I betrayed them because
she was so nice. Yeah. But then she refused to make our steaks well done.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, the waitress
it's up to the server for that, The chef is like, should we do what they ordered? And you're like, nah, fuck them.
You just give them a thumbs down, like a Roman gladiator. No. I was nice to their face, but now behind their back, let me stab them.
Yeah. I run the restaurant, guys, and I just serve for fun. I own this place and I'm just bringing your food and dealing with your bullshit attitudes just for fun.
I feel so bad for servers working during COVID. Like I can't even imagine the type of people that are going out to eat like inside right now and just how they're being treated. Like I haven't read any reviews so far, but I'm sure there's coming.
Because the expectations haven't changed. Like it's not like they're given a little wiggle room. It's like no, they're still expected to be like 100% like focused on them and whatever person feels like our server isn't fast enough. Or, those people that do reviews, they're still out there and they're still going out. Those are the only people going out, actually, if anything.
100%.
The people who want to be served.
Yeah, the people that want to be served and people that dress up and they go out and they think that because they're at that restaurant. Like I would get a lot of people that would be like, I'm a regular. And I was like, I've never seen you before in my life because you've been here twice in a year. So they're probably getting a lot of those people that are just dressing up and being like, this is my time out and you're my slave. I can't even imagine.
And probably just like, oh, you guys are lucky that we're even here because we're helping your business out by being here right now.
As soon as people started to learn the phrase, the customer is always right, that just ruined a lot of people's brains. It made them, instead of being like, oh, this is an interaction that we're having and we should just be friendly to one another. And then at the end of the day, I'll give you a nice tip and we'll go our separate ways. Instead of that, people are like, I'm like a god here.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this Outback Steakhouse, I am in charge, and this little worm that's coming up to serve me is my slave until I decide whether or not to tip them.
I wonder where that originated from, if it was like one business that ruined it for everyone that had just like a really good commercial that was like, McDonald's, the customer is always right. And then everybody picked that up and then it like
Yeah.
fucked everyone.
Fucked everyone royally.
Yeah.
That was the thing too, is my manager at the time, that table that attacked me, my manager went up and was like, I'm so sorry, because she was a pussy. And I was like, now you made them think that they are right. And we all know that
Yes.
they're wrong. And she's like, just don't go over there. She was younger than me. And it's one of those things where I'm like, she was like 21, just, done with her job. She was over it. And I'm like, you aren't even backing me up because you think you know what the world is about and you're naive.
Yeah, that is the absolute, because I used to work in retail and we would sometimes get, monstrous people who would come in and just like call people idiots and do shit like that. And they would always say, let me talk to your manager. And the manager would come over, and in a just world, the manager would be like, you called my employee an idiot? Then they'd slap them in the face with a white glove.
Yeah.
And they would say, I challenge pistols at dawn, sir. And they would defend the person's honor. But instead what they do is, he's an idiot? I'm so sorry, sir. Please let me make it up to you. I'll suck your dick if I have to. Just anything you need. Let me do it for you. It would be my honor. And that's despicable. That is the worst fucking getting abused by a customer and then seeing your boss tell them, yeah, you're right for abusing them.
Yeah,
that is the worst fucking feeling.
I'm so sorry that they're stupid. You're right.
Yeah. Speaking of the customer's always right. I was at a Denny's one time. It's like late at night, and these frat guys came in and they were like pretty loud and annoying. And they were in there for like half an hour or so. And then they ran out on their check. And I remember, because I used to go there a lot, so that I remember the manager just like complaining out loud. And I was like, yeah, that sucks, man. That's awful. And then he went over to their seats, and one of them had left their phone. One of the guys that ran out his check left his phone, and he was like, all right.
Oh my
so
God.
He took it to the front, and one of them came back like probably an hour later once he realized, because I imagine in that guy's head, he was like, he had to go retrace his steps, like, where did I last have my phone? Oh shit. And then you have to decide, is it worth it to me to go back to the Denny's, or I just ran out on the check? And the answer is no. To me, it would be no. But to this guy who has no shame whatsoever, he was fine with it. So he went back, and he was like, went up right up to the front, right up to the manager, and was like demanding his phone back. And the manager did give him his phone back, but he chewed him out. He was like, you motherfuckers, you come in here. This is my business. This is my livelihood. I got waiters. They need tips, all this stuff. And he yelled at him for like 5 minutes before he gave him his phone back. And as soon as he held the phone out, the guy grabbed it. He's like, you're an asshole, man. Hey, the customer's always right.
No.
You're not a customer. You didn't pay.
That's exactly what the manager said. He's like, bro, customers pay. You're a thief.
Oh my God. I can't believe he gave him his phone back. I wouldn't.
I would have thrown it in the trash. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I've never, that is like the pinnacle of that attitude to me, to like steal from a business and then say the customer is always right.
Yeah.
You're not even that. You're not even a customer.
Have you guys ever run out on a check before?
No, I couldn't. I'm too obsessed with my karma.
Yeah. When I was like 15, we went to the Cheesecake Factory, and I think we really didn't anticipate how much it was going to cost.
Yeah, Cheesecake
so
Factory's a surprise like that sometimes.
Yeah, so we didn't run out on the whole check, but like we didn't pay for everything. And I still feel bad about that. But I was 15,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a teenager, it's, I don't know that I ever did it, but maybe I did. I was definitely tempted. I remember there was a restaurant named Johnny Carino's in East Lake.
God, I did not like that place. Yeah.
they just had really good free bread. They would give you like, you know, a loaf of bread and then olive oil and like roasted garlic. So you dip the bread in, and I would go there with my friends just for the bread. They usually would not make us pay.
Wow.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's probably why they went out of business.
I think it was a health thing, actually. I think they
Really?
got raided by the health. That was the rumor when they got shut down, was they got raided by the health department, because it was
I
just
guess
like in a day they were gone.
that makes sense, because my friend was a waitress there and she said they were working and then they just were like, everybody who's eating needs to leave. Like it would just like,
No.
yeah, like happened very suddenly and like nobody had any warning at all.
Wow.
All right. So let's do our first review. Brittany, do you have a review for us?
Yes. So this is a review for Belmont Park, which is a little theme park by the beach in San Diego. So it says, a staff member named Emmanuel, he was working the little kid speed carts that was recommended for my toddler nephew I was babysitting. October 17th around 11:30 a.m. I am completely disgusted with this guy's behavior. He should not be dealing with anyone's kids. His demeanor screams, I hate my job. Well, after Emmanuel scanned our tickets, me and my 16-month nephew struggled to get into the cart. As we got into the cart, I'm trying to buckle us up, but I was having trouble. I look to Emmanuel, the attendant. We make eye contact, and he starts the ride. Me and my baby nephew jerk forward, grab my nephew from flying out or hitting his head on the equipment. I yell, have you lost your mind? The guy stops the ride. I said, you knew we weren't buckled in and you started this ride. I quickly try to grab the seat buckle on before we thrust out of our seats. For one, the impacted of this ride isn't suitable for little kid. I had trouble staying in my seat. I don't know if there is variable settings and this guy just had it on high. When the ride was over, I said, what's your name? As I read it on his name tag, I said, you know, that is protocol number 1, safety first. And you deliberately started this machine knowing we were not fastened in. This is a baby. Emmanuel is just smiling and grinning at me. No apology, no remorse. This is unacceptable for him to put a baby safety at danger like that.
What did he said? What ride was this?
They didn't say.
Damn.
I mean, I don't know. Taking a 16-month-old onto,
Yeah.
I assume it
Yeah.
was.
I mean, there's usually like
roller
a height.
coaster.
You have to be at like at least this height to ride these rides, or like a certain age. It doesn't sound.
Be a
I don't know
tall
any
baby.
ride that's like, you know, that you can put a baby in.
Unless it's like a little train and you go around on the
Yeah.
little train.
That would totally make more sense. But
Can a 16-month-old baby sit up by themselves even? Or are they
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they can't?
they're just drooping,
Yeah.
just falling everywhere.
I don't know anything about milestone ages, so
I mean, I do like the idea of a baby that cannot even walk or crawl, and you're like cradling it in your arms on a roller coaster, just holding it really tight. That's your safety precaution.
wanting them to be a daredevil.
Yeah.
I feel like Emmanuel wanted that all to happen, and the madder she got, the more pleasure he got. And he's like, this review, he's jacking off to it.
I mean, the review is funny, but if what
It is.
happened, Emmanuel should be in jail. He's crazy.
Yeah.
I was just saying, the mom like trying to explain to him that he almost like killed this child, and he's just like, yeah. You know, that's pretty nuts.
He's
Well,
like, I know.
Yeah. I'm
He's
aware.
like, yeah.
I know what I was doing.
I failed.
She's also babysitting her nephew. Like, if you killed your little nephew because you took him on a roller coaster when he was a baby, like you're not getting invited to Christmases anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, to say the least. People would be pretty ticked off if you killed your baby nephew, I think.
And you're like, but Emmanuel, it was Emmanuel.
It was Emmanuel. He was just looking at me with his dead eyes, his shark eyes, and smiling. Maybe this review writer and Emmanuel were former lovers, and Emmanuel was spurned by them, and this was his revenge. He assumed that the baby was his,
Maybe.
and he wanted revenge. Yeah, I'm kind of writing my own fanfic about this.
I also want
this
to know
review.
why she put in the note that she asked his name, but she could see it on his badge. I thought she was going to say, and then he lied about it. So I don't know why that detail was in there. That's like that annoying, like, our parent, like my mom will give me like and then he called me and he said hi and I said hi back and he says, how's your day? And I said, oh, my day's going great. And then we go in, like every detail. You're like, I don't need to know the play by play.
Yeah, this lady needs an editor for her reviews, I think.
Yes.
Just cut some of the fat a little bit. Get to the child endangerment. That's what we came for.
Well, the story that you made up yourself, Jake, led me to make up my own story where she is trying to get full custody of this child. So she is writing fake bad reviews about Emmanuel putting children in danger to show the judge and be like, look, even at his job, he has all these Yelp reviews about how he mishandles children.
Oh,
this I like.
Yeah, I like that.
We're a rich tapestry we're weaving about Emmanuel and this review writer. Maybe they were on opposite sides in a civil war. And this child is a prophesied child that will bring peace to their fractured nation.
I mean, that definitely could be it. 1 star.
That could be. We can't rule it. They didn't specifically say anything about it bringing peace to a fractured nation, so we can't rule it out.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
It's kind of surprised, and this actually makes me weary of more of rides, but you would think more people who were murderers would take rides at places like this because you could very easily kill a lot of people if you wanted to.
Definitely more murderers work at like other amusement parks and carnivals. You know, carnies, I think they're pretty nuts. And so I think it's more common.
I don't stand behind you saying that. I don't think that's a fair assessment of all carnival workers.
Yeah, that's anti-carny prejudice. And this podcast does not endorse that kind of bigotry.
I mean, my grandparents were in the circus, so like you did just defend me, but at least
I'm so
they had
sorry.
talent. They had talent.
I thought you were like, but to be fair, they are murders. They did.
Yeah.
they're currently in prison, so.
They did, yeah. But I do think that carnies just like their life on the road. Like we had a big carnival in Toronto called the CNE every summer, huge. And one time I got high and I walked to the background where all the carnies were living and just walked through and saw their life and they're having a time. It's just a traveling trailer park and they love it.
I bet. I'd be getting drunk every night, among other things.
Yeah.
So your life would change very little, actually.
Ha 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 ha.
I mean, it certainly seems fun because you're just with your bros. Yeah. You guys are just broing out every night. You get no real responsibility other than to move the carnival to another town the next day.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, but that's, you worry about that in the morning.
Like when you have to clean up after a party and you're hungover, you have to move a whole fucking circus to a new town.
Yeah, being hungover and trying to wrangle a circus elephant, like, oh, come on. You're just like whipping him. I can't deal with it. I need a burrito or something. Yeah.
Jake, do you have a review for us?
Yes, I do. This is a review for the board game Settlers of Catan. Oh. Like the most boring version of Monopoly on Earth. So 2 of us have played this game twice now, each time at 2.5 hours in length, once in a cabin in the woods. We feel we have given it a good chance and find it incredibly boring. We just don't get how this game could be the best-selling game of all time around the world. It's tedious. It's slow. It's boring. It's a time waster. And we found ourselves in a circular series of moves that at no point brought either of us any satisfaction. In fact, the winner, quote unquote, was so happy to be done with the effing game and had no desire to brag or do a victory dance. It was more like
victory dance. When you play
presumably this person normally,
yeah, I
but
guess so.
With Settlers, no. It was more like, finally, it's done. Way too expensive of a game to produce this kind of response. Reminded us of an extremely boring game of Monopoly, but Monopoly is high octane and loads of more fun compared to this. We are so perplexed by its draw that we are going to do some online research and see how we're missing all the fun and addiction folks in other reviews went on about. Because maybe it was only the 2 of us playing. Save yourself the $44. Just buy Monopoly. You'll have more fun. And you know how Monopoly can feel interminable sometimes? Multiply that by 10 million.
Wow.
Whoa.
No game of Settlers of Catan should take 2.5 hours. That game should take like 45 minutes.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
what is happening? They're just playing it wrong. You've never played, Brittany?
I don't know if I have. It sounds familiar. It sounds like one of the games like you guys probably played before and after poker, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like you're have fun."
I mean, it's
Based on
board
how
game.
boring it sounds. Like this sounds like something you would like since it sucks.
well,
But also, like, he kept comparing it to Monopoly. So, like, this guy doesn't play games. He's like pretending he's a big board game player. He's like,
Mm-mm.
I play it, Go Fish is so much more invigorating. Like,
Yeah, Monopoly sucks ass.
Yeah.
If you've ever played that as an adult, it's an extremely boring game. There's not very much you can actually do. You just roll the dice and you move around. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot more strategy to Settlers of Catan. Even if you don't like it, that's fine. It's got a lot more going on than picking if you're the race car or the dog.
do you think it was because there were only 2 people that they didn't have so much fun?
I think it might be because they're very stupid.
Hmm.
Because not that anyone who doesn't like it is stupid, but you have 2 people and you're playing a game that both of you are visibly hating, and you're on hour 2 of it. And instead of being like, hey, you hate this, right? Because I hate it. Why don't we stop and
Try
do
it
anything
3
else?
more times.
And then dedicating time to research the game after because they can't let it go.
Yeah, I had such a bad time. I had to spend hours researching this game to piece together why other people like it. That's psycho behavior right there.
I feel like I've done that with movies before where I'm like, I don't get why people like this so much. So I've like looked up things about it maybe, but
Are you talking about video?
Videodrome? No, I'm not talking about that. I will not waste my time doing that.
And also they threw in a little line there about we played it 2 times, once in a cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, I hated it. Like, why did you tell us that you were in a cabin once?
I think
that didn't improve my review experience.
Maybe that's to say like all games are more fun when you play them at a cabin in the woods. Everything's heightened.
I see.
So if they can't even have fun playing that game in a cabin in the woods, like it's really a bad game.
Yeah, when is like the most appropriate time to like play board games? I feel like if you're camping, cabin in the woods, when else? I guess some kind of family night,
Bachelor party.
Holidays.
bachelor party.
That would be Jake's
we have
ideal.
a
bachelor
very
party.
sad.
Bachelor party. A wedding.
Yeah, just do that instead of having a wedding, you just play board games. Yeah, I mean I would prefer that as a bachelor party than like strip club till 2 a.m. or whatever. That's just me.
Yeah, okay.
You don't believe me?
Anybody listening that's friends with Jake, do not make him your best man because your bachelor party will turn into 2 hours in the woods with settlers.
He won't even plan you a bachelor party, so for sure don't.
Yeah, I mean, I would not impose my values on someone else. I wouldn't assume, well, I would rather be playing, I don't know, Ticket to Ride or some game like that.
Raul, do you have a review?
I do. I have 2 reviews.
Oh.
2.
Both for the same person. This is a Rate My Professor review for Mr. Gutierrez for Math 38. Or math. I don't know what Math 38 is, but it's for that. It starts off. Given the choice between this class and a urinary tract infection, I choose a UTI. Given the choice between this class and pneumonia, I choose pneumonia. I had to teach myself everything from the textbook, though the textbook itself is miserable. If you take this class, take with Fumosu. Gutierrez is quite honestly awful. And then here's a second review for the same teacher. I never wore my seatbelt while driving to school because I wanted to die before making it to his class. So those are 2 reviews for Mr. Gutierrez.
On to the carnival with what's his face?
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Raul,
You meet him.
was the first review written by a man or a woman, or does it not say?
It does not say.
It had to be a woman.
It had to be a woman, I'd imagine.
Because of the UTI thing?
Yeah, I mean,
Slutty
because
woman.
She had to be some dumb whore, I got to assume.
Who doesn't know you have to pee after sex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because if it was written by a man, I was like, they really don't know that they would not rather have a UTI than go to this class.
Really underestimating UTIs here.
They're really, they can be really awful. Yeah.
Well, the fact that they specified pneumonia, that makes me think that they were thinking back to illnesses they've had in the past that were really, really bad, being like, I'd rather go through that again. Because pneumonia is not like top of mind at all times. It's very specific. It's good writing, to be quite honest. Although they didn't employ the rule of threes. They only did 2 examples.
Yeah, that was
very
true.
It's my only note for this reviewer.
Well, I don't know. Don't you have like, I always had a grace period when I had a class that I could drop it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
switch.
have like a month before you can drop it, right?
Usually
Yeah.
it's not a month. I think it's typically like something like 2 weeks.
These are the same
At
two
least.
people who played Settlers of Catan for 2.5 hours and just refused to stop.
Yeah, they're absolutely hating it, but it's like, I'm not going to do anything to make this stop happening to me. I just got to see it through.
I didn't think people used Rate My Professor for real stuff. Like, I always just looked to see if a teacher was
They were
hot.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, that makes so much sense for you. But people would take it actually, like, especially in college, obviously, like, you take it way more seriously and, like, let's actually see who the good teachers are or whatever. So sorry.
I didn't have Rate My Teacher in Canada. It didn't come out. Yeah, we never had it, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're missing out because they would tell you if the person assigned a lot of homework and if they were hot. And those are really the only things that you would ever care about.
Know.
A lot of homework, but they're hot. And then you're sort of torn. Like, I don't want to do homework. But
I would not be torn. I could care less. I just wouldn't do the homework. I'm not trying to. I
would just fail the class, but get to look at a hot person for a semester. That's cool.
Nikki, did you ever have any like a crush on teachers growing up or anything?
That's what I'm trying to think of. That's why I was like, I don't think so. I didn't like older men. So it was just they're too old. But no, I did
Interesting
have,
that
like,
you hit
what?
that. You hit the word men really hard as if to say, but older women, sure.
Oh yeah, but like if it was a hot girl, you kind of assume that she's going to be fun. And then when she's a bitch, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But I did have a crush on, what is it, like in elementary school, teacher in training.
like a
And-
Like a
TA.
teacher's assistant, TA.
Yeah, he was really hot. Me and my friend would flirt with him and be like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And then it got to the point where he's like, you guys can't grab my arm anymore.
How old were you?
I was like in 3rd grade.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That is
That's so
very
funny.
young to be getting that talk of like, listen, I know you're having fun, but
Yeah.
I have boundaries and I need you to respect them.
Oh man, if they had to like pull your parents in, that would be so
Oh,
embarrassing.
God.
Sure. I know. Yeah, it was. I do remember being like, oh, okay, we can't do this anymore. All right. Sucked.
You felt like he broke up with you?
A little bit. Like, I really did think that the feelings were mutual, but it turned out they weren't. Like, I thought, I was special in his eyes, but it turns out I was just, I don't know, 9.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, maybe he asked you to stop because it was getting too real for him.
Maybe.
He was like, listen,
He
I'm
was just
married.
scared. He was just
I don't
scared
want
of
to
true
lose
love.
my wife to this
True.
9-year-old.
But our school in elementary school, the vice principal ended up being a pedophile.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
crazy.
always
Yeah, he was a pedophile, and that came out, but for little boys.
Oh.
a little judgy there, Brittany.
No, I don't know what. I don't know why that was my reaction.
Well, yeah, 'cause you were like, that's
I mean-
not very fair. If you're gonna be a principal, you should like everybody the same,
That's true. You shouldn't be playing favorites. That's wrong.
No. Yeah.
That's wrong for anything. It's always interesting when I find out. I love hearing about that when someone tells me that like their teacher or principal or like coach or whatever. Yeah, it turns out they married a 15-year-old student and they were
Yeah.
48. It's like, what?
It's pretty common. Well, so after we graduated high school, we went on this Europe trip, which is being put on through our high school. So it wasn't necessarily a high school trip, but mostly the people going were in high school. And one of the teachers like volunteered to be like the group leader or something like that. But he was never my teacher, but he was a teacher at our high school. And the whole trip he kept saying, like, I don't know how it got brought up, but he was like, there's a teacher at our school who had an affair with a student. And he kept saying it. And like by the end, I was like, was it you? Because like the way he was saying it was just really, I was like, it was you. And then he got all weird and like wouldn't talk about it anymore. But I think he was like trying to like gauge our reactions to it or something.
Yeah, like, what do you think of that, of a teacher and a student?
I mean, would you
maybe
think it was
dating?
hot or like?
I mean, it's wrong, right?
like,
right,
yeah.
Brittany? You can disagree if you want, but that's how I feel, that it's wrong.
Oh, you've
Yeah.
never experienced that? Oh, did you want to? I can hook that.
If it was like anybody else, I probably would have been down, but not him.
You like the teacher.
Yeah, that
I
guy.
did.
Yeah, Brittany famously likes the teachers.
That guy has
Mhm.
no idea how close he got.
Yeah, he was
only-
really,
yeah.
he was barking up the right tree for sure.
If he was 5% hotter, I'm sure it would have happened.
Yeah, well, also just smart because some of my teachers that I had crushes on were not cute at all, but they were just so smart that I thought they were really fun. He was neither super smart or attractive, so it didn't really.
Yeah, you get dealt a bad hand in life.
I feel like
He
the
wasn't-
teachers might not have actually been super smart. You just were young and weren't smart. And then they, not that you aren't smart, but as a kid, you're like, whoa, you know that?
Or honestly, they probably weren't even smart. They were just like a little bit of an asshole, and I was like,
Oh,
they're
yeah, yeah.
so smart. But, yeah.
Just be slightly condescending, and people
Yeah.
are like, oh my God, this guy knows a lot about chemistry or whatever because
And
he was
if
a
they're-
dick to somebody once.
Yes, if they're kind of mean to other people, but then you're like, well, I'm gonna make him like me, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Story of my life. But see, we had a teacher in high school.
This is good
in
advice.
12th grade where he would like, people were paying him off for like everybody would flirt with him and he would give them good grades. But I was like, I refuse to do any of this. But I also, it was economics and people were paying him under the table for a good grade. And he's an economics teacher. And I was like, I can't flirt with this guy or pay him. And he almost failed me.
Was he attractive, like, or were people just flirting with him for the grade?
He wasn't attractive to me, but I can understand why. Like, he probably was a player in real life, like
Okay.
outside of school. I could definitely see him. Yeah, like definitely being a fuckboy for sure.
I don't know if it's appropriate or ironic for an economics teacher to be accepting bribes
I know.
for good grades, because
I know.
you could make the arguments like, well, this student was smart enough to know that they can use money
Yeah.
to obtain goods and services, like
Yes.
the service of getting an A in my class. So
Yeah.
they actually deserve an A when you really think about it.
And then he's teaching the girls, like, if you do want to be with somebody with money, flirt with them. If you want, ladies, you don't have to worry about making money. Just flirt with men, and then you can also get what you want.
Yeah, you'll never buy a drink in your life.
Yeah.
He's really teaching beyond just school economics.
This
you
guy
know?
is one of the greatest teachers of all time, in my opinion. These are
He was
life
that classic
lessons.
guy. He wore like Zara pants and like a white button up, but would leave like the two buttons undone.
Yeah,
Yes, like that. Like why
you're
are you doing
painting a
that to school?
picture for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That is one thing I won't do. I won't let a guy buy me a drink if I don't want to talk to him, because then I feel obligated to talk to him, and I would rather pay for my own drink than have a drink bought for me, for sure.
That's very principled.
Yeah. One time a guy tried to buy me a drink at a bar and I said, no, thank you. And he said, why? And I said, because I don't want to be obligated to talk to you. And then he looked really sad and he said, you won't be obligated to talk to me. And I was like, yeah, like I will. And like, I'll feel bad. So I would. And then it's like an hour of your night wasted.
Oh, so I would take it and then walk away.
I don't like to do that. I know a lot of people who do. Like, they're like, if a guy buys you a drink, you don't owe them anything, which like I agree with, but I just could. And I'm not even that nice of a person. I just like couldn't do it. I don't know. I felt, yeah.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
look
I
like
guess
they have money. I'm like, whatever. Like you're buying everybody drinks, right? And then I take it and walk away.
yeah, if I was going to buy a girl a drink and she said, "No, thanks, I'm not interested in you," I wouldn't be like, "No, let me buy you a drink." I mean, now that I know that this is not going to go anywhere for sure, I still want to buy you a drink. I want you to drink something that I paid for. That's important to me for some reason. I
Because
don't
no
understand that.
doesn't mean no, Jake. And they don't truly think that you mean that. And they think they'll get you the drink and then things are going to happen.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Mhm.
If they just do that 3 or 4 times, then it's like, yeah, they do want to talk to me now all of a sudden. Boy,
Yeah,
I
or
feel
they just have to put something in the drink, and then we do want to talk to you.
So chatty.
or sleep and just pass out
Yeah.
and wake up with no memory of the night before. Whose turn
Brittany,
is
do you
it?
have another?
It's my turn. This is for San Diego Ice Academy. It is an ice skating rink. It says, if I could give this place 0 stars, I would in a heartbeat. The people at the front desk were good. However, the staff on the ice were a total joke. They busted me for doing lunges on the ice, as that's considered sliding. They also busted me for wearing Beats headphones because I didn't like the music there. As I was jamming to Slayer, one of the staff said, "No headphones." Then I responded, "Well, I think the music sucks and I need to be able to motivate myself to skate harder." Then she responded, "Well, you're going to have to deal with it." As we skated away from each other, I whispered under my breath, "Fuck you." This is complete bullshit because the first day I was there, no one said anything about the headphones. Finally, I got busted for rubbing snow on my forehead because I was overheating. Whoever likes this place is a loser and has no taste or life.
I was going to say this person was 12 years old until the sentence, they have no taste. I was like,
Yeah.
a 12-year-old, I can't see them saying, "You have no taste." But then they added "and life." And then
Yeah.
12.
Definitely
Practice
has
well.
that teen angst vibe
Yeah.
to him. You know, listening to Slayer, yeah, fuck you.
But like,
Yeah.
what 12-year-old
That'll-
needs to skate harder? Like, I just need to ice skate so hard.
I just got to express myself through skating. You don't understand. I got to listen to Slayer and skate. That's my life.
Oh, this person is a Raiders fan as well. Their little icon is a Raider. Just
Things are falling into place.
Also, like,
for
what kind
this
of
guy.
lunges are they doing? I've never seen. I don't know if I'm not familiar with skating enough to know what a skating lunge is. Like, what's going on there?
I don't know. I feel like I can picture it in my head. Like they like skate forward into a lunge and then kind of like glide.
Oh, they sound graceful.
Yeah. They
I
do.
would like to know what kind of skates
does
they're
not
wearing.
sound very
Hockey
metal.
skates or figure skates?
Yeah, Slayer would not approve of that. What are they doing?
Because I mean, the manager did respond and say something like, "There's open skate night where you can do any moves you want," but this was like there were children around or something like that. I don't know.
Children around.
So you can't be doing lunges because you could hit a child, I guess.
Oh, I thought he was saying like it's unsafe to listen to Slayer because of the demonic influence it might have on you.
Well, they did say that you can wear headphones, but you have to have one ear out to be able to hear what's going on around you, which I think clearly that only seems safe. But
Pretty reasonable.
Why did they get in trouble for rubbing snow on their forehead? What was
Yes.
the issue with that?
I don't know. He just said I got busted for rubbing snow on my forehead because I was overheating.
Hey,
well-
that snow belongs on the ground, not on your head, man. Get out of here.
We finally got you. The guy that's been rubbing snow on his forehead for months. We found him. Get out of here. You're banned for life.
But now it's just melted water. How did it get that way?
Yeah, that's very funny. I mean, it really makes me want to go ice skating and like see the people who like are taking it very seriously, because I wouldn't think that that would be the case.
I mean, have you seen all those videos of like people, you know, taking roller skating very seriously? Like,
Yeah, but
it's like really coming back.
Well, it's coming back
Yeah.
because you can do that outside right now, but ice skating in San Diego, it would be an indoor place. So you can't, I mean, that I don't think that's having a big resurgence, you know.
I feel like all skating seems to be having a big resurgence for some reason. I don't know. I've seen videos of like other people ice skating recently, and so
I mean, as soon as they put the movie Brink on Disney Plus, then it was like we're back skating, rollerblading.
Soul Skater, baby.
We're
If
back.
people ever forgot about Brink, then they should go fuck themselves. Like if it took them releasing it on Disney Plus for them to be like, I need to get some rollerblades and be like Eric Von Detten, they're not
Wow.
real soul skaters. They're not.
Skating is wait, what is it? Skating's not who we are, it's what we do. Or is it the other way around? Skating's who we are. No, he
Sounds
says
like it's the
skating.
first way.
Sounds like someone needs to rewatch Brink.
Yeah, it has been 15. No, more than that. It's been 20 years since I've watched it, probably.
Well, now you have my Disney Plus sign in, so there you go.
Yeah, that's true. That is maybe one of the only Disney Channel movies that I've seen.
I've never seen Brink. If you want to give me your Disney Plus sign.
Okay, well, it'd be educational. You're kind of morally obligated to, Raul.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Brink
All right.
is very good.
Yeah, Brink is great. Pass it over, Jake.
You got it.
All right, Jake, do you have a review for us?
I sure do. This is a review for the Health Sciences Center in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. 3 stars. Well, right now it's freezing here. LOL. I'm tired, but other than that, it's a hospital. What can I say? Boring waiting, obviously. At least it's not full with people waiting. Although it's still a wait. It's clean, and that it should be, especially with this COVID. I hate hospitals anyhow. Not many, I'm sure, do like hospitals. Wink emoji. End of review.
Was
That's
this like
it?
a stream of consciousness?
I was ready for the story to begin.
There's no story. It
It's
sounds
just-
like they wrote it in the waiting room of the hospital. Just like looking around like, yeah, I'm waiting in here, and there's not a lot of people, but they keep it clean. But there are people still waiting. But yeah, you got to keep it clean, what with COVID and all. Anyway, it's cold. LOL. Like and
How's your day
subscribe.
going?
Yeah.
But wait, sorry, you said it's from Newfoundland?
It's from St. John's, Newfoundland.
Yeah, so that's why.
Is that what they're like up there?
Newfies are not the
Newfies.
smartest. They
Sound very chill though. Super chill.
simple. I'll say simple.
Can you hit me with a Newfie accent?
I actually can't really do I guess no, I can't. Newfie's a bit like
Oh, Jesus.
a little bit, but also like a little bit they sound like they might be partly deaf. I don't know if I can say that on this podcast. You might want to take it out before I get canceled, but you know, like you really can't. It'd be like deaf, Scottish, Canadian. Like it's you can't understand what they're saying sometimes.
Jake,
It's
take
wild.
it and go.
I would have to listen. I could do a Newfie accent, but I would have to listen to someone talking that way first.
So you
I
need
don't
to cheat.
I don't know if hearing someone else do an accent and then
No,
repeating
it's-
that accent is cheating when it
It
comes to
is.
voices.
I gave you that would be like the
She
people
described
who
it.
sketch, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be like the people that sketch criminals, them just seeing what the criminal look like and saying, here, like this. You'd be like, yeah. No, you have to take the description and make what
I
you want.
do
of it.
not think
If
that
you were
people
in an
do accents.
improv class and the
Uh-huh.
audience was like deaf, Canadian, Scottish, go, you'd
Yeah.
say no.
Yeah.
Say what? Go ahead.
I would say, how dare you give me so many suggestions? Stick to one. All right.
All right,
What's the
Jeff,
thing?
Go ahead.
What's the thing that Newfies say? What's like a sentence they would say? And I'll try and.
The review, read something from the
Oh,
fucking
okay.
review.
Yeah.
From the review. Yeah.
Oh, well, I did close it, but all right. So you said deaf, Scottish, Canadian.
Yeah.
Well,
You
we're
guys-
right now. It's freezing here. LOL. Oh, they also do a freezing emoji. That's why they say LOL. I think they're entertained by that. Yeah. Well, right now it's freezing here. LOL. I'm tired, but other than that, it's a hospital. What can I say?
Can you?
Born
Can
and
you
waiting, obviously. No, you know what? You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna watch a video, someone talking with a Newfie accent, and then I will
gonna
do
hit
it
us with
perfectly.
it?
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask him what he thought just a deaf accent on its own sounded like.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
too scared to do the deaf. That's the problem.
What a coward.
Yeah.
Which I actually think is offensive because that's just how they sound. So if you think it's rude to then that's something inside himself,
Yeah.
a
yeah.
prejudice he has.
Well, I can't wait to hear what he has in store now that he's listened to the. Also, it's very funny to see him.
It might be
like,
hard to
intake it.
find it though, too, like a proper Newfie accent.
Okay, you think you got it?
I swear to Jesus, might as well be doing it myself. This is from a video called Newfie Peels Potatoes. You can't peel those damn things at all. Might as well be doing it myself. Jesus.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm sending you this video, and when
No,
you
no,
watch it,
no,
you're
I
gonna be
believe
like,
you. I believe you.
when you watch it, you're gonna be like,
I mean,
hey,
Brittany's
that's
not
pretty good.
convinced, but
Out to myself, Jesus. But they also do a lot of this where they kind of slur everything.
They kind of just go a little deeper, deep down like this.
Yeah.
This just feels way more Scottish than anything
They're
else.
just not really, they don't really move their mouth very much, you know. They don't move very much. They don't try very hard. Then they go on a little
These
bit
people
of a
sound
long time.
subhuman in your
Yeah,
estimation.
they sometimes are subhuman.
You-
for sure.
You hate them.
They are Canadians are like, oh, don't judge us based on Newfies.
They'd never get cast into Degrassi, that's for
No,
sure.
definitely not.
all right, I got a
Take
review
us home.
here. This review is for a restaurant called Third Degree Glass Factory. It says, one of my biggest fears as a public restroom user is someone walking in on me. The bathrooms at the Third Degree Glass Factory escalate that fear times 10. The stalls are sliding doors with no locks. The entire time I was using the restroom, I was paranoid that someone was going to swing the stall shutter right open and expose me at my most vulnerable state. Along with the stall doors not having locks, the toilet paper was a 2-ply and nearly tissue paper thin. It took me about 24 squares to get the job done. Normally, I would only give 3 stars for an experience like this, but the craftsmanship of the bathroom sinks is amazing. So this overall bathroom experience, 4 out of 10.
Oh.
Wow.
So they only reviewed the bathroom. There's no mention of
no mention about the restaurant or the
any
food
other part
or
of the
service. It's just all bathroom, baby.
That is such a weird restaurant name, by the way.
Yeah, it was
Third Degree.
Glass Factory?
Third Degree Glass Factory.
Third Degree Glass. Don't understand that. I mean, if you do not have locks on your stalls in your bathroom, you cannot get higher than 2 stars from me.
Yeah, usually it's like little hole in the walls that, like, maybe the lock is broken or something. But it almost seems like the way they describe it is that it was done on purpose.
It's a design choice.
Yeah.
To keep people on edge.
I would like to know about bathrooms if I'm going to a restaurant. I'd like a heads up,
So you appreciate their review because at least like you have a heads up to what their bathroom situation is. What type of toilet paper, like what is the door lock situation?
You might order differently if you're like,
Yes.
I can let myself poop here or I can't. So I'm not going to get the cheese plate.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink coffee on the way
Hold the
there.
coffee.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I do think bathroom reviews are usually, I would pay more attention to that than I would to like, oh, the waiter was stupid and they hated white people or whatever. That's like a common thing that I see in reviews. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but anytime a white person has bad service from someone who is not white, one of their favorite things to say is, I bet if I wasn't white, I would probably get better service. Like,
Woe is them.
Oh my
Rough life.
God.
not entirely sure about that, but okay.
Or it's like the hot girls who were like, they hated me because I was so
Yes.
hot.
It was too hot.
Brittany, how often do you make decisions based on, like at a restaurant, based on if you
Are you
gonna use the
asking this because my stomach hurts a lot?
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm asking this.
Well, I have had to go to the bathroom in public a lot as a child because I had IBS and I had really bad stomach problems. So as an adult, it has made me not very scared to have public bathroom situations. So I wouldn't really, care that much, I guess. But when I was a kid, for sure, like if I had to go at school, I was so embarrassed. Like I just couldn't do it. I was mortified. It was really bad. I think my mom called and got them to like let me go to the teachers' bathrooms in high school because my stomach was so bad. And I was just like, I wouldn't go during class. And it was like a problem. So I think they let me do that. And then I just stopped going to school. But
Don't have to worry about it anymore.
yeah.
No, it's true. I had the same. I definitely have, or I had IBS as a kid, but I didn't know what it was. And you had to put your hand up. So I got so paranoid that I took Imodium every day just so I wouldn't have to go to the bathroom during the first period. And now I am constipated all of the time.
Dang, that's
because I eat on Imodium because of my IBS. Now it's like the opposite. sucks.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I was just gonna say, speaking of embarrassing restroom things, Caitlin, we have a friend who is staying over, and she had texted us that she's going to use the down. She had texted us, me and Brittany, because we live together, that she was going to go use the downstairs restroom because she's afraid that her pooping is going to come up on the podcast because the restroom is right here.
Little does she
Like
know.
the sound.
Yeah, like she was afraid that we could hear her poop on the podcast. So rather than
Now,
that, I'm
did
just
you-
mentioning it.
Did you get her permission to read that text on the
No.
pod?
No. But
all right.
I think it'll be fine.
I trust your
Awful.
judgment on that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say she was concerned that the smell was going to waft out of the bathroom, like into the hall, because yesterday she was just talking about how gnarly her poops were smelling. So
She's not here.
I don't know. She'll listen to it.
Well, if you're listening, Caitlin, I'm sorry. I had nothing to do with this. I wish we'd move on.
Yeah.
Caitlin, if you're listening, Imodium. It just will really
It will just give you lifelong constipation well into your 30s.
you won't have to deal with this embarrassment.
I just think everybody should get over their bathroom shame and stop
agree.
being so scared about it. I know grown adults, you might be one of them, Jake, who will not poop in public, and it's crazy to me. I don't know, Jake. I just think
You're
you might
accusing
be
me
one
of that?
I'm not sure because, like, I know Raul has pooped in public. I'm not 100%.
It's true, I have.
Nice brag.
Jake, have you pooped in
Yeah.
public?
I have. I mean, it's not,
Ever?
I do get nervous though about clogging other people's toilets. That
Yes.
gives me anxiety because that happened to me at acting class once, and the acting class was in his apartment, but part of the apartment was just the acting class, but the bathroom was like connected to the room that we did the class in, and the toilet started overflowing, and I had to get him, and it was so bad. And he was like really paranoid all the time. Like, you couldn't bring food in there. Like, he really kept the place very clean. So I was like, that was a really bad moment.
Did he have a plunger by his toilet?
It was overflowing, Jake. I didn't know what to do. Like,
Well, no, I'm not. That was not accusatory. I am asking.
I don't know.
Okay. Because I think you got to have a plunger by your toilet just at all times, especially if other people are going to be using that bathroom. It's the right thing to do, to be quite honest, because you're just asking for trouble if you don't have that.
Or
Mhm.
you have to know that the move is actually to take the lid off the toilet and grab the ball that monitors how much water is in the tank and then pull it up so that everything stops right then and there.
I didn't know that.
I know.
No, that's a tip.
That's the move. Now you
That's-
know for next time.
That's one to grow on right there.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm gonna do the wrong thing, and it's gonna
You just
break even
dismantled this
further.
toilet. Yeah.
Now she said, "Smash the porcelain top of the toilet." Right? Is that what Nikki said?
All right, I'm gonna start wrapping up here. Nikki, is there anything you want to plug before we sign off?
Yes. I do a podcast called Whoa Dad, where I teach my absentee dad who came back into my life how to be a father. So you
Oh.
can get that all the places. And on Patreon, I read our really brutal emails. Well, my brutal emails to him and just some behind the scenes. He's a really funny guy. It's not a sad podcast. It's like Jake knows he is
Yeah, he rules.
a silly, funny guy without knowing it.
Mhm.
That and I'm on Instagram, Nikki Bon, and YouTube, Nikki Bon. Yeah.
All right, you can follow our podcast at Zero If I Could Podcast on Instagram and also Facebook. And follow me personally at Raul Z Comedy on Instagram. Brittany, where can they find you?
At Bitchney H.
And you can also just make sure to subscribe on iTunes and also on YouTube as well. And Jake, where can they find you?
Just leave me alone.
All right, that has been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to Nikki Bond for being our guest for this episode. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'd give you 3 thumbs down, drag your name into the ground, and on a scale from 1 to 10, I give you 0.